there's weather. It's amazing how much airlines do need to deal with in terms of weather. I also, whenever there's a big delay that I'm on, they also talk about just air traffic congestion and problems. So you do hear those thrown around a lot. Do you believe American was that what it was? Was it weather? 1,900 flights? They've been doing this for a while, and you don't always see that, or is there something else involved in your view?
From time to time, Joe, as you said, we do get adverse weather. There can be problems with ATC. We're hearing stories about labour issues over here and inflation. Not seeing that in Europe, but there can be major weather events from time to time.
Right. You have fuel issues and inflation, perhaps issues in terms of jet fuel, but you're not having the labour issues. Why? Or are you? I'll ask you that.
No,
I don't want to lead the witness.
Even on the fuel side, Joe, we're very well hedged. We're about 70% hedged for the balance of our financial year, FY22, 80% hedged into the first half of FY23 at fairly attractive levels vis-a-vis the market. On the labour side, we've got 1,000 cadets being trained on an annualised basis. That means we're self-sufficient for first officers and for command upgrades up to captains next year. We've nobody's leaving Ryanair. We're the #1 carrier in Europe, and they're all very keen to work for us. Evenly on the cabin crew side, we took a view back in the spring that we would staff up ahead of the summer. That proved to be a very good decision. We've had lots of standby cover when there were a couple of disruptions, which meant our on-time performance is running over 90%. We carried 11.3 million customers in October at a load factor of 84%, and bookings just are continuing to grow strongly. Our fleet is more or less fully operational at this point in time, and we expect to get back to a growth into next year where we'll grow to about 165 million guests from 100 million this year.
So what happened over here? I mean, you're over there, but you are a CFO of a major airline, and you're watching your peers over here in the United States. What happened? What's going on over here? Bottom line, Neil.
Well, it seems to be a problem with getting people to come to work. There's inflation problems. Pilots were potentially furloughed, cabin crew furloughed, didn't get back into check as quickly as they should have done. And that's a decision we took at the start of COVID, that we would keep everyone in check. Every aircraft flew every 90 hours. Every pilot went through their sim checks, did their line checks, and did their flying. And that meant that we came back strongly, but airlines who didn't do that in Europe and over here have had operational difficulties getting people back on the line and keeping them on the line.
And Neil, do you think it's a fair debate for U.S. taxpayers to be frustrated and upset about this? And the reason I ask is because clearly there were specific grants and bailouts for the airlines that privileged them over others. And part of the rationale was that they were going to be up and running, that they were going to be able to power the economy when things came back. And here we are, and it's not happening.
Well, I think one swallow doesn't make a summer. Yes, there was a bad weekend last weekend, but throughout the pandemic, I was very impressed at how aircraft kept flying here in the US. Domestic flying seemed to be very robust. They came back relatively quickly. The longer haul has taken longer to open up. There will be some teething problems, and I've every expectation that Southwest and the various other airlines over here will deal with those issues as they arise. But, there will be weather events, there will be ATC events, but in fairness, you've got relatively well-run airlines over here in the US.